Welcome in, nerds. This is another episode of
Video Nerds.
I am the ManNerd, and I'm here today with
Steven Shred. It's about to go down.
is about to go down. One of the best animes of the year. Here we go. Let's talk about it. The Eminence in Shadow Season 2. So good. So good. You got me into Season 1 right before Season 2 started. So, how did you like this season overall, Steven?
I absolutely loved it. I thought that this season specifically, like everything they covered just got us like deeper into all of it. Like the only thing that we didn't really touch on is like the school life stuff, really, but that's not necessary.
Yeah, and I think at this point we're beyond it.
Yeah, we get the whole Mitsugoshi thing with Shadow Garden, and then we get the Lawless City. We get a bigger expansion on the politics involved. Like, it was just so good, especially contrasting Jujutsu Kaisen going on at the exact same time. That is just super, super heavy. So it made it feel even better with like the lightheartedness of the show.
Funny, just action-packed most of the time. And like you said, definitely better in contrast to Jujutsu Kaisen, since we watched Eminence after that to help us out, because we've been being destroyed emotionally.
Yeah, we'll cover that on another episode, so stay tuned for that. We're actually recording this the day of the season finale for Jujutsu Kaisen, so we'll be covering that very soon.
Yep, after we stop crying. So, moving on. Let's get into some of them spoilers.
Let's do this.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
All right, I think I know the answer. What is your favorite character from season 2?
Still Delta.
Still Delta? What about your second favorite?
Second favorite would probably be I'm blanking on her name. The Bloodborne dressed-esque vampire hunter.
Yep, the redhead.
Yeah, I'm blanking on her name, but she served the Blood Queen, kind of, and then she wanted to stop the Blood Queen from going all hardcore when the Blood Moon went off. But yeah, like it was funny that I had wrapped up Bloodborne not too long before that with the DLC and everything, and in the DLC there's Lady Maria, and the way that the character from Eminence in Shadow is designed looks so much like her. So it was just instant favorite. But Delta's still number one. Yeah, Delta's still number one, but it made it even better because this season we got a ton of Delta.
We got way more Delta. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I think she was one of the 7 that was featured the most. I think even more than Beta, because Beta was in, I think, like 2 or 3 episodes, like being highlighted. Yeah. But Delta was just all over the place. Even in those episodes too, Delta was right there.
Yeah, it was very, very cool. My favorite too.
Do you have a second favorite?
Second favorite would be have to be the well, you said it, Spirit Fox. Yeah. She was just badass and kind of evil, but not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to dance that line when you live in the Lawless City.
Hell yeah, you do. And the Lawless City was dope with that. Basically a zombie outbreak, vampire outbreak.
Yeah, and they just play up the goofiness because Shadow just wants to be the cool guy. So he hears one cool delivery and he's just like, all right, that's my thing now. And just proceeds to copy it for the rest of the arc.
Yep, the entire time just repeating the same thing over and over again to everybody. We're running out of time.
It just made it feel even more like, we're watching Eminence in Shadow.
Because Shadow's he's awesome because he's OP, but he's also kind of a doofus.
And he just tries so hard to be edgy.
Yep. All right, what is the thing in this season that made you laugh the most? No, it might be rough, but I already have my answer.
Mine's a random answer because it's like such a background thing, but for some reason it's stuck in my head. Just Delta and I think Zeta just fighting the entire time when they're at the spa. And then at one point, Zeta calls Delta a dog, and that just like triggers her. She starts getting mad. She's like, Delta is not a dog. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. Like,
That's pretty good.
Just the weird arguing back and forth. Like, they're just a bunch of little kids. What's yours?
Right. Are you ready for this?
I think.
All right. Every freaking time that they would mention the character Perv Asshat, I kept forgetting about him, and it would make me laugh every time. And then they brought him in at the end.
Yeah, that's one of those things where it's just so on the nose and so absurd that it's just like you forget it's a thing.
And then they're like, Perv Asshat. And you're like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Okay.
Like, yep, that guy's here.
Okay. Culmination of the season. Why don't you tell us about that?
So we start out with Sid taking a little trip over to the Lawless City with his sister Claire. While they're there, just so happens that the moon turns red. They get the blood moon, and we get this little vampire outbreak, which is basically like a zombie outbreak. People are getting infected, all that. And of course, Shadow shuts it down like it's nothing. A lot of cool sequences. And then we get some secret dealings with Shadow dealing with some of the Lawless City people, the Spirit Fox included. And it kind of expands the idea that he's just stealing things from, like quote unquote our world and bringing them over there because they start introducing like credit and all this stuff and a lot of goofiness. But we get a furthering of the plot on what the cult of Diablos is doing. And then we get the real big drop. Shadow's back in our world. I didn't see that coming. After a huge boss fight, the main demon that they summon, Shadow beats him like it's nothing, and then he's back in our world, and that's where it leaves us.
And he has magic.
Yeah.
And other people have magic.
Yeah, it's weird. It looks like people in the modern world have magic now, which they touch on a little bit. They do talk about how the different dimensions touch, and when they do, it creates this kind of siphoning off of mana. So a little bit of the mana from the magical world dips into the world that Shadow is a part of now. And that's how they became magical. And now we're seeing that most likely happened again because, Eminence and Shadow isn't isekai. We don't normally see what causes people to get isekai'd, which isekai, if you're unfamiliar, is a genre of anime where protagonist dies in the regular world and they're reborn in a fantasy world, and they usually have some kind of overpowered trait. Usually it just kind of happens and then we just kind of accept it, like Mushoku Tensei. They never explain why. It just kind of happens. But here we get a little backstory on how it probably happened, how Sid ended up in the fantasy world, and then he goes back. So the magic, the mana is now in the modern world, and we're going to see how that plays out, because they announced with the ending of season 2 that we got a movie on the way.
Oh, yeah.
Very excited. Very, very excited.
I have a theory.
Well, lay it on me.
I think he's going to be able to move back and forth between worlds eventually.
That would make a lot of sense. I mean, that's like the next step, right? He's like a god in comparison of like power wise. So why not be able to just take that a step further to just being a multi-dimensional being?
Hell yeah.
I'm just wondering what the end game will actually be. Like,
it's so hard to determine because we didn't know any of this until like the last episode, like the main story stuff.
Yeah, it's just kind of we're along for the ride. And now here we are with actual lore and actual like things going on.
And no more Delta for a while.
Hopefully just the movie.
Hopefully just the movie.
We'll see.
Or he brings them over. We'll see.
I mean, they could go hunting after him when they see him disappear.
Yep.
We'll see.
All right, well, easy peasy. D20 all the way from me. I'll watch it again for sure.
Yeah, no questions about it. Definitely going to watch it again. I'm actually surprised. If it wasn't for me rewatching Zom 100, I probably would have started rewatching it already.
Yeah, Zom 100 is so good. We'll catch up on that on another episode, though.
Yeah.
All right, well, until next time, and we're going to go watch Jujutsu Kaisen and cry, and our hearts are going to break. So we'll catch you later.
See ya.